The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I remember a number of years ago, we had a wonderful couple that lived in our community for a number of months, having moved in from Eretz Yisrael. You might remember the name Professor Brenner. And Professor Brenner, at the end of the 4, 5, 6 months that he was here, I don't remember the exact amount of time, he was going back to Eretz Yisrael, but he needed a particular piece for his computer. And so on 163rd Street here in North Miami Beach, he went to get this piece that he couldn't find in Eretz Yisrael for his computer before he went back. It was raining a bit. The door was locked. He rang the bell, and he was finally let in. The fellow who let him in was a middle-aged man, an African-American, and right away he gave such a heartfelt thank you to Professor Brenner. You have to keep in mind that the professor wears a big yarmulke. He has a long beard, very discernibly and noticeably a frum Yid. And right away, this African-American gave him a very heartfelt thank you. So he assumed that the thank you was for the fact that this fellow owns the store. And instead of turning away because it was locked and it was raining, he came in and he appreciated the business. That's what he assumed, and that's what he expressed. And the fellow said, "No, I'm just a customer just like you." So he said, "So what are you saying thank you for?" He said, "What am I saying thank you for? For what you and your people did for my people in Haiti." Now, you may not remember, but a number of years ago, there was one of the most devastating earthquakes imaginable in Haiti, an extraordinary loss of life. But what did this fellow remember? That from the first responders were those who came from Israel. The Israelis came over in mass, and right away they set up the field hospitals and they treated those that were injured. They were actually successful in delivering multiple, I don't remember the exact number of women who were giving birth. They delivered babies, and they were mamish. It was a tremendous Kiddush Hashem. So he turned to Professor Brenner, just like, grouping together all of the Jews. Well, that's what you and your people did for my people. How could I not say thank you? In fact, if you recall, they were so appreciative, the Haitians were, that I believe approximately 100 of those babies were given the name Israel because of their appreciation and gratitude to the Jews from Eretz Yisrael that helped save them. Now, I don't think that name will get them shlishi by the Torah, but it's pretty extraordinary that they gave en masse the name Israel. And Professor Brenner told me he got very emotional, and he said to this African-American, "I really appreciate you saying that, because you see, in the world out there, there's such stereotyping, and especially with the advances of news and technology and the press of a button, people can go ahead and say something negative, and all of a sudden the whole world finds out." And he commented to this fellow that the general perception out there is things will be said negative about the Jews or very contrary and different than you're explaining. And he looked at Professor Brenner with such a serious look, and he says, "Rabbi, you listen here. You don't be busy with what this one is writing and that one is writing, this one is blogging, that one is blogging. You and your people have to continue doing what you're meant to do. You and your people have to continue sanctifying the world, sanctifying your God, and bringing about that beautiful experience." And he told me before he went back to Eretz Yisrael how shaken he was. Here was this fellow reminding him, this one will say this and this one will say that. We have to stay laser beam focused on our mission in this world. We are Rishon, B'soich B'nai Yisrael, and as such, our job is to bring about Ribui Kloit Shemayim B'Rabim. The world is watching. The world is scrutinizing. The world is watching to see the way we act, the way we react, and the way we interact. And while we may not be able to control what one writes or one says or how news or information or misinformation spreads, what we can be in control of is our actions and our deeds and the way that we behave. And that's what Professor Brenner told me that fellow in the computer store taught him before he went back. He thanked me as if I would have been the first responder. I wasn't anywhere near Haiti. But this fellow understood it was the Jews from Israel. And this fellow reminded him, stay focused, stay laser beam focused.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org